Carrie Ann Knauer, and welcome to Carrie's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a leek and asparagus quiche.
First step is to preheat our oven at 375. Then we're going to start working with the asparagus. Now we want to use only the tender part of the asparagus. Bend it and it'll snap at the point right where the woody stems are and the tender tops are. We're going to pre-steam the asparagus so that it won't be too crunchy or hard to cut when we're ready to eat our final quiche. This is a rice steamer that can also be used for vegetables, and I'm going to do it for 12 minutes. You could also do this on your stove. Now we're going to pre-bake the pie shell just so that it has a head start, because that egg mixture is going to take a very long time to cook. Put it in your preheated oven, cover it with foil so it won't get too dark, and bake it for 12 minutes. When the asparagus is done, you want to remove it from the heat source so that it doesn't continue to keep cooking. The next step is going to be to cut our asparagus. You want it to be in about 1.5 inch long pieces, which will fit comfortably on a fork. Then we're going to cut our leek. Now with leeks, you only want to use the white parts and the parts that are lightly green. I cut them in half lengthwise and then turn them and cut them crosswise. Now leeks are part of the onion family. They have a nice mild flavor. It's also very spring. When that's ready, we preheat our pot, add a little olive oil, and we're going to saute the leeks. Give them a good stir in the beginning to coat them with the olive oil, but then keep your eye on them until they are ready. They should look about the texture of onions. After 12 minutes, pull out your pie crust. Set that somewhere where it can cool, but keep the oven hot. We're also going to fry up some bacon so that we can use it in our quiche. Leeks are just sizzling away. Give them a good stir. Once they start to get tender, you're going to want to add the asparagus to the leek pan as well. Pull out the bacon, let it drain a little bit, and then add your leek and asparagus mixture directly into the pie dish. Spread it out so that you have an even distribution of leeks and asparagus, which we're going to cover with our egg mixture. Now I recommend starting with your eggs and just hand whisking them until you get the yolks and the whites incorporated. Then you want to add your half and half, give it a good stir so that they're mixed up, and then finally add the cheese to this mixture, as well as your salt and pepper. Once the liquids are all mixed up, pour them over your dish. The cheese is probably going to come out in clumps, so you're just going to have to go back and spread that out. Now this next step isn't necessary, but it gives it a really nice touch. Reserve some of the asparagus tips when you're doing the cutting, and just arrange them in an interesting manner on top of the quiche. I'm just going to do mine like a clock shape here, so that when I cut it, each piece would have its own asparagus tip. And we can't forget about the bacon. Crumble up the bacon. If you cook extra, then you can use just the best parts and avoid the fattiest cuts of the meat. I like to spread the bacon out over each piece, ensuring that each piece of your quiche will have about an even amount of bacon. When that's done, put it in the oven on top of a cookie sheet. Set the timer for at least 45 minutes. Now you're going to want to test this before you take it out. Insert your toothpick and look to see how runny the inside is. You want it to be firm, but there will still be some liquids. When you think it's ready, pull it out and let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes. And now we're ready to serve. Notice the nice light brown color of the top and of the pie crust as well. If when you're baking it the pie crust starts to get too dark, you can cover it with aluminum foil again. Getting the first piece out is always the most difficult. So here we have it, our leek and asparagus quiche with bacon and Swiss. Perfect for brunch or dinner.